Elif, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about Cohere Health, which is one of the fastest growing companies in the Boston tech scene in the healthcare industry. So let's unpack what Cohere Health is doing.
Okay, awesome. Cohere Health was born of a simple premise to make the burdensome prior authorization process better for patients, providers, and health insurance plans alike. Right. So what we do as a company, we're taking a pretty antiquated prior authorization process that has been there for ages, right, since the beginning of health insurance, and actually applying technology to be able to come with an intelligent prior authorization process.
Well, let's talk about kind of like a real world example. So as like a patient, like I know the insurance companies are your
Yep.
customers ultimately, but like what is this? Why does this matter for a patient?
We, all of us that have insurance, we need to be able to get a prior authorization before any major, for those types of surgeries or coverages that require insurance. So for example, back surgery. In order for you to be able to have a back surgery, you need to get approval from your insurance company that they will actually cover it. Sometimes, and many times, this process actually pretty burdensome, very manual, and it takes a long time before you can actually get the answer. In some cases, for back surgery, probably the need continues to be there, but in some cases, right, it may actually get worsened by the time you get the answer, or your situation may change. So what we're trying to do at Cohere is we're trying to reduce that time to get to that right decision and that authorization, but also do it in a clinically right viable way for the with the right care path in mind, based on the right information from the patient's background and their health information, as well as the clinical guidelines, so that we can come up with that right information. So Cohere's platform takes all of this information together and then comes up and makes that recommendation to the provider who's entering, or their administrative people that are entering in this request, to be able to tell them that this is the right course of action for this patient. So what happens at the end, right, for the patient themselves, we're able to get not only a pretty speedy response to our request, right? But also we're getting the right care, if you will.
And that's so key. It's the right care. And the insurance companies obviously they want their patients to just get well, obviously for the greater good of humanity, but it's also saving, the money of cycles of going to other appointments that aren't necessary, or, they're just not improving. Whereas with Cohere Health, that speed to the right treatment and that authorization is happening.
That's exactly right. I mean, we all uh, talk about, right, the expense of healthcare and where is this going and is it going to be sustainable? But at the same time, that healthcare maze. I don't know if you looked at it on our website, you see that patient and the maze of healthcare and where do I need to go and what makes the most sense. And depending on different people I talk to, it can be pretty daunting and complicated, right? So as a patient, I need to be able to, when I'm talking with my doctor needs to have the right information available to me, and I need to know that that I am being taken care of the right way and I'm moving into the right direction. I think you and I talked about it before about my friend who was having a back problem, and in that scenario, she ended up having three surgeries and no path to uh, really true resolution for her. If when her case was being looked at, instead of rushing to surgery, if we had looked at maybe some of the more conservative therapies before, right? Has she had PT? She hasn't. I can tell you, she's my best friend. She did not have PT. She did not have some of the potential injections to be able to address this, before jumping into surgery. And then now, I mean, if you look at her back, it is multiple surgeries later, she still doesn't have care. So what our platform is able to do in a like a real world example, right? When that prior authorization request is being put in, it's very transparent. It's asking, are we missing any information for this patient to be able to make the right decision? So that information is brought to the provider so that they can complete missing information. But also we have what we call those nudges that says, hey, we see that this patient has never been to PT before, or we haven't done these other therapies. So is jumping to surgery the right next decision, right? So looking at the care path, looking at the patient's information, and then coming up with that right decision for that patient, right? Every patient is a little different. Every situation is a little different. So we cannot, right? So we need to make sure, and our platform helps providers on that path by bringing all that information to be able to make the right decision, or at least have that information available to them, so that they're making a more like they have all that comprehensive information available to them, so they can make that right decision at the end and in a timely fashion, right?
So Cohere Health is growing very aggressively. So what's the latest at the company?
Oh God. All right. So there's a lot happening with the company. As we mentioned, I'm not sure if we mentioned, we are now have over 750 employees, or we call them Cohere Nuts, across the country. There has been a number of exciting announcements this year. We announced a strategic partnership with Medical Mutual. We also launched early trend signal intelligence, which can predict utilization trends months earlier than traditional claims-based methods, so that we can see where the trends are going and where we need to, pay attention to. We raised as a company $50 million additional liquidity earlier this year. So the companies, has more funding that allow us to be able to expand and meet the needs of the health plans as well as our patients and providers alike. We as a company has been recognized across the healthcare technology space. Some examples are, we received our third consecutive class Points of Light Award during a successful collaboration between a health plan and the provider group to reduce healthcare costs and increase efficiencies. Yeah, so a lot. I mean, I've joined. We're also making a lot of, additions, right? Bringing in new leadership, and you've been hearing some of these announcements as well. So the company is setting itself up for that next level of growth. So we're pretty excited.
So what's it like working there? What's the culture like at Cohere Health?
I have to say, personally for myself, the culture was one of the most important things when I was making my decision to join the company. And as I met with the team, frankly, initially, I was almost going to some other opportunity. But as I met with the team and the different leaders and I've talked with them, I was like, oh my God, I really like how transparent and how collaborative, even during the interviews, it was very, very apparent. So I would say the people changed my decision from going in one path to Cohere. So we're a very committed company, creating a collaborative, cohesive, and supportive workplace culture. As a newcomer, right, I came in with some changes in mind, observing and giving feedback, but it's, unlike many other companies, the team is very open to change, right? And we all know change is hard, but I was very surprised and pleased to see that. At the company, the purpose drives our performance, right? And we are open to rethinking the status quo. Goes back to kind of being open to change and with open arms. They embrace humility. You can, open door, we call it open door, open Slack policy, that, you can talk to anybody about anything. We connect, collaborate, and cohere is what we say. And truly the company lives all those values that we go by. So it's a great place to work. I've enjoyed it every single day.
So top tier talent, regardless of market conditions, they always have different job opportunities that they can pursue. So why
True.
should Cohere Health be on the radar for job seekers?
I mean, again, having joined the company, right, a couple of months ago, I've just gone through that myself. But when we look at the company, it's really positioned well, right? We have the right technology. We have the right problem. Very important, right? You want to be, for most of us, right? Yes, we want to make a living. and live our best lives. But at the same time, many of us actually want to have that right purpose. And working in healthcare gets us there, but working in a very, very important problem at healthcare that is going to have big impact on the lives of all of us, right? We're all patients, and the lives of the patients and the providers is really important to me. And then also who is the company that is trying to make that change? So Cohere is full of, very smart, passionate, and mission-driven team that are really, truly committed to solving this problem every single day. And the company is positioned well to succeed in this. We're well funded. We're well supported in the industry. We have good technology that is proven technology that's providing results right now, and a great team with the right culture. I think we're there. I don't know why would you work anywhere else but Cohere. And we also care about our people, right? We have I would say our people are the most important part of what we do. And the company takes good care of its people. And this is, seen in our engagement surveys, as well as, great benefits package. Yeah, I think it's an all-around good company to be in.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at Cohere Health, you need to go to their company page on VentureFizz, which has all their listings. Go to venturefizz.com/Cohere, and you'll see their job listings there. Elif, thanks so much for taking the time to walk us through all the great details about the company.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.